What is up, everyone? Welcome to what is about to be the most controversial video on the internet. I, Triceratops Jr., am going to rank every single Fortnite location ever. Every named location is on this list, and we're going to go through and just put them where they belong. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Starting off at the top of the alphabet, the top of the list, Anarchy Acres. Now, Anarchy Acres is like the quintessential Fortnite location, okay? Of course, it starts at the start of the alphabet. AA, real smart. My name's Andrew, if you didn't know. A's. And so that's why I think it's going to go in the best section. Because, it is, like I said, the quintessential. Every time I dropped an Anarchy Acres, I won. It's just, it's the perfect starting location. So that's why it's going in my best category. Number 2, we got Caddy Corner. Caddy Corner is not as good as Anarchy Acres at all in any way. It's just something about the vibe of the place is off, you know? You go there and you just never feel at home. You always feel on edge in Caddy Corner. So that's why it's going in the worst category. We've got two opposite ends of the spectrum already, and we're already 2 in. We've got a long ways to go. So let's just keep going. Craggy Cliffs, man. Okay, Craggy Cliffs. Cool ass place. Very, very cool. Good drops here. I've always gotten really good drops here. Oh, didn't mean to drop that. I accidentally right clicked on my mouse. Good drops. Really good building spots here too. And good vantage points. That's another essential thing. So I'm gonna put it in the great category. It's not quite as good as Anarchy Acres, but it works well. Next up, Dirty Docks. Dirty Docks. The vibe, awful. But just because the vibe is awful doesn't mean it's a bad location, of course. Dirty Docks is a pretty cool place. I like the water aesthetic of it. I think it's a pretty well-built place. Not a place I would want to drop right at the start of a match, but still, a decent place to be, you know? So I'm going to put it in the good category. Not my best, not my favorite, not my least favorite, you know? It's just good. We've got one of every category. Are we going to get okay in the next one? No, because we're at fucking Dusty Depot. Dusty Depot. Another quintessential location in Fortnite. Just an awesome place. So it's going to go in the best here. I don't even need to explain myself. It just makes sense. Dusty Divot, though. Not as good. I'm not a big fan of the forest aesthetic of this place. So it's not it's not a bad place. I do think some tree cover can be nice every now and again, especially in those really tight shootouts, but it's not my favorite. It's going to go in the good category. It's weird that there's a good and an okay, because to me, in my mind, those both mean the same thing, but they're really not. Whatever. Next up, we got Fatal Fields. Fatal Fields is every game seems to have a farm location, and this is one of Fortnite's, and so it's a pretty, I keep right clicking. It's a pretty standard location. It's not really super interesting. And I think this is going to go in the okay category just because it's not the most interesting place in the world. Flush Factory, however, is very, very interesting. I mean, who doesn't like toilets, right? Great. Perfect. Easy. Frenzy Farm. Like I said, we have a lot of farm locations. Again, not super interesting. I'm going to put it right next to Fatal Fields. Right where it belongs. Frosty Flights. Okay. Snow, airship hangar. Perfect combo. Really, really awesome. It's a cool place to be, but not a cool place to stay. There's a lot of wide open areas here, and it's not really a good place to hang out. So you typically have to build stuff to protect yourself here. I'm not a huge fan of open areas, but it's a pretty cool location, so it's good. Gotham City, screw Gotham City. I am of the mindset that Fortnite does not need this many crossovers. There's too many crossovers. So Gotham City's going in the worst section. Even though I like Batman, it's going in the worst section. Greasy Grove. Okay. Greasy Grove. It's a pretty forgettable place, honestly. I am not a huge fan of it. I think in its time, fine, but most of the other time, it's okay. Happy Hamlet. Now, this is the place to be. If you want a cool little city location, Happy Hamlet's the place to go. Good shit. Haunted Hills, easy. Haunted Hills is great. One of the best locations in the game. It's spooky for one. It's got haunted in the name. It makes perfect sense. Also, like I said about Craggy Cliffs earlier, height, good vantage points, Haunted Hills is best. But it's like, it's better than, what makes it better than Craggy Cliffs is the spookiness of the place. I think it makes a lot of sense. Holly Hedges, another honestly forgettable location. I'm gonna put it down in the okay section just because, like, honestly, I don't remember a ton about it. It's just like skips my mind at this point. Going off numbers now. The next one is Junction. Junction, little known fact, the first place I ever dropped in Fortnite. Junction is the first place I ever went, and it's where I honestly don't put that in the best category yet. We're not there yet. I accidentally right-clicked again. It's fine. Junction is just like, I've got fond memories of the place, you know, because it was the first place I ever dropped. But does that make it best worthy? No. Does that make it great worthy? Yes, because you can get a lot of supplies at Junction really easily. And so that's why I think it belongs up there. It's not my favorite, though. It's no Anarchy Acres, and we both know that. We all know that it's not quite as good. Lazy Lagoon. Okay, so Lazy Lagoon. Now, when I saw this name on the map for the first time, I was like, yo, this reminds me of my childhood watching SpongeBob. Goo Lagoon was one of my favorite places in the SpongeBob universe. And, like, seeing that name just was like, yo, this is the place to be. And so it's one of my favorite places to go and hang out, you know? Lazy Lagoon. It's got that nice beach coastal vibe, like a resort vibe. That's the word I'm thinking of. And so for that, I'm putting it in the great category. Lazy Lake. Now, also growing up, lots of anecdotes here. Also growing up, we had a lazy river at the pool I went to, and, like, it was okay, but I remember, like, almost drowning in it a few times, so that was not cool. But this is a lazy lake, and that, like, honestly, all lakes are lazy. It's not even original with its name, so it's going in the worst category. Lazy Lynx. Now, hear me out on this one. This place is a resort with a pool. Lazy Lynx, you're pretty cool. Got that one. Leaky Lake. There are a lot of lakes in Fortnite. Wow. Leaky Lake it's pretty cool. It's pretty essential to Fortnite in general, like, especially from the Fortnite lore standpoint, but, like, it's not as cool as another lake, which I'm about to get to in a second. But, like, lore-wise, it's important, so I'm putting it in the good category. Lonely Lodge. I like the vibe of it. It's got some of those nice, like, high point vantage points that I've talked about up here before, but it's not as good as either of these two, so it's going in the good category. There's gonna be a lot of good ones. It's a very middle ground place. Loot Lake, however, that was the lake I was talking about. Best. Loot Lake is one of the, like, and again, quintessential Fortnite locations. Everyone knows Loot Lake. Everyone's been to Loot Lake. Everyone has memories of Loot Lake. And that's why it belongs clearly in the best category. Lucky Landing. Now, Lucky Landing is literally what it sounds like. If you are lucky and you land here, you'll get good items. If you're lucky and you land and then you get shot, well, you're out of luck, aren't you? So it's going to go in the good category. I dropped it for a second. I'm going to put it in good. Mega Mall, cool location. I love mall, like, areas in games. I'm a big fan of the mall map in COD Cold War. And so this sort of has a similar vibe. I just like the sort of aesthetic of malls. So it's going to go in a great category. Not quintessential, pretty great. Misty Meadows. Misty Meadows is like another one of those. It's similar to Happy Hamlet in some ways. But hear me out on this one. It's got a clock tower. And that gives you that vantage point. And I think that's a cool vantage point to have, especially in, like, a video game standpoint. So Misty Meadows is going under the great category. Next up, we got Moisty Mire. Now, Moisty Mire, one of my favorite names in all of Fortnite. Moisty Mire. I know a lot of people hate the word moist. I really do not hate the word moist. I think it's a great word. But I think it's going to go in the good category because a name isn't enough to make a location good. We all know that. So it's going in the good category. Let's just put it there. Moisty Palms. This is your desert oasis area. Pretty important to a lot of games. There's also Paradise Palms, which we'll get to that in a second. But Moisty Palms is like your oasis. And every game has some sort of oasis. I think Moisty Palms does not match up to ones from other games, but of course this is a list of Fortnite locations, not other games, so that doesn't really matter in my ranking. Moisty Palms is getting a good, though. I think that makes the most sense. Neo Tilted, it's like, we haven't talked about Tilted Towers yet. It's still coming up, but like, I like the Miami neon nightlife aesthetic, but I wish they had made a new location and not just remade Tilted Towers, you know? So I'm putting that in the okay section. It's fine. I like the aesthetic, but it's not as good as another map, which I'm just going to grab now. Tilted Towers, another essential map, quintessential map, best, easy. Paradise Palms, I think I'm going to put right next to Moisty Palms because they're both just oasis, a little different area-wise, but like they give me the same vibe. Pleasant Park, boring, worst. Polar Peak, pretty cool, not great, but pretty cool, good. Pressure Plant. Pressure Plant is another one. It's weird. I like malls a lot, but I don't like factories quite as much, unless you're Flush Factory, because toilets, haha. But Pressure Plant, I think, is also going to get a good ranking. I'm throwing these out of order. It doesn't really matter. It's going to get a good ranking. I think it's like a fine area. I like the indoor aesthetic a little bit more than being outdoors in the open, so it kind of works in that favor, but I don't think it's necessarily one of the greatest maps. It's not as good as Flush Factory. Retail Row, you got shops. It's kind of like a mall, but like not really. It's okay. Rickety Rig, I don't want to be out at sea. That's just not a great place to be in any game. It just doesn't work. It's okay though. It's a cool idea. Risky Reels, we love a good theater. Lots of good memories watching some sick concerts here. I think it's a cool place to be. It's going in the great category. Salty Springs. Oh man, I love the word salty. And there's another salty area coming up, which I'm gonna talk about. But Salty Springs is where we're at right now. So I think it's okay. I think Salty Springs is an okay area. Purely okay. And I'm like, I was gonna put it in the good, but I was like, I keep saying okay. That makes the most sense here. It's an okay area. Design-wise, it's pretty formulaic. It's pretty much just laid out like your average, ordinary, everyday kind of area. So it's not super interesting. Shifty Shafts, though. That's cool. Mine Shafts. New, original, hot. It's great. We love Shifty Shafts. Slurpy Swamp. Okay, so Slurpy Swamp is like, I feel like it's in a similar place to Moisty Mire, actually, where it's just like, do you really want to be in this area? Is there any reason you could think of that this area is better to be in than any other area? No, there's not. So I'm gonna put it next to it. It's okay. Actually, no, I'm putting it in the okay section because at least Moisty has the word Moisty in the name. It makes more sense to me. Snobby Shores, fuck the rich people, worst. Starry Suburbs, fuck the rich people, worst. Steamy Stacks, now this is the working man's area. It's your average like job. You know, The Simpsons. Homer Simpson works at the nuclear plant. This makes sense to me. It's where the working man goes. It's great. Sunny Steps. I think like aesthetically the sort of temple vibe is pretty cool, but like I don't think it's a super standout Fortnite area, you know? It just doesn't really hold any weight to me. Sweaty Sands. Now, Sweaty Sands is your everyday man's go-to resort. Basically, if you work at Steamy Stacks, you're going to Sweaty Sands. But it's not as cool of an area as that is, so good. The Agency. We're getting into the list of the areas. These are like pretty intense names. The Agency, okay. It's okay. I think they could have done better with it. It's okay. The Authority is also okay. You're gonna get something from me. I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of these sort of the areas, although I will say next one, I'm saying that, but then we're gonna get to this next one. The Block is absolutely baller. I think what Epic did to allow users to create stuff and have them added to the game, super awesome, great. Not best because it's not like the most like important influential area. I'm gonna scroll up so y'all can see that a little better, but it's not the most important area, I would say, but it's still pretty cool. The Fortia, the Fortilla. Whatever way you say it, it doesn't matter. It's going down here with the other thes. The Grotto is another one of the names that I can like get behind. I think it's a pretty cool area. It reminds me a lot of the Cistern from Skyrim, if you ever played the Thieves Guild quest line in that game. Pretty cool stuff. I think it's gonna go up here in the Great section. I think that's sort of when you're underground, you've got like the skylight shooting in on you. Cool shit. The Rig, again, it goes out here with Rickety Rig. It's like it's a water section. I don't really want to be there. The Shark though has a little bit of like a cooler design than any of the other thes down here, so that at least puts it in the good section. The Yacht, fuck the rich. Tilted Town. We've done Tilted Towers because I grabbed it a little early, but Tilted Town, not as good as Tilted Towers, but it's pretty good. It's pretty solidly good. Tomato Temple. Now we're going to talk about Tomato Town in a second, but Tomato Temple is sort of a weird location in my opinion. It's just not my favorite, not where I want to be, not great drops, not great building locations. So it's going in the okay section. Tomato Town though, iconic, quintessential, belongs in the best category, obviously. Wailing Woods. Oh man, we talked about the woods in Dusty Divot earlier, right there. I'm trying to like show where it is, but we talked about that. I think Wailing Woods is a bit more of a vibe I can get behind than Dusty Divot. So I kind of, it's weird. If I had another middle section here, I'd probably put it between good and great, but I'm going to put it right next to Dusty Divot up there. Same with this next one, Weeping Woods. It's also going to go there. The wood location is good. It's not my favorite though, but like if I had another thing between good and great, both those would probably go there. Coral Castle. We're on our last line. We're almost done. You can see this long ass list I've got going here. We're almost there. Coral Castle is honestly not my favorite location, but the aesthetic does bring it up a bit to put it in the good category. Doom's Domain, spooky like Haunted Hills, but kind of lame though. Kind of lame. Stark Industries, awful. The Ruins, spooky but okay. Okay, we're on our last four. I can zoom down here so you can see these. These are our last four right here. Oh man, there's a lot of these. Colossal Coliseum is going to go. Oh man, I think it's a cool location. I like a good Coliseum. I think a lot of people like a good Coliseum. I was one of those kids who grew up on Greek mythology. It's just like a cool idea. It's going in the great category. Hunter's Haven, got that lodge kind of vibe. I don't remember where I put the lodge here, if I could see where I'm going. It's been a while since I put it up here. Someone could probably point it out for me. It's got that similar sort of vibe, but like, yeah, there's Lonely Lodge. I think it belongs next to Lonely Lodge. I think that makes the most sense in my head. Salty Towers. So we got Tilted Towers. Tilted Towers is up here in the best category. Salty Towers, not as good. I know it, you know, we all know it. It's not as good. It's okay though. It does not belong in the worst. Stealthy Stronghold is our final area, and I'm just gonna give this a very solid okay. It's a very, very solid okay. I'm gonna zoom out a wee bit here so y'all can see the entire list if I can make that work. Here you go. Look at that. Beautiful. I put a lot of work into that. This beautiful, beautiful tier list. Every area in Fortnite ranked. I'm sorry for speaking so fast. There was just a lot to get through in here. Whew, but we did it. I was out of breath for a second, but like, I'm here. I'm collecting my thoughts. I'm alive. I'm awake, alert, enthusiastic, and I'm done. Please let me know in the comments what is your list. Please let me know if you think that I'm wrong, because like I love to see your comments. I like to see what y'all think about this. If you like what you see here in this beautiful video I just made, I stream 3 times a week over at twitch.tv/Triceratops_Junior, so you can find me there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, everyone. Keep on keeping on. Peace out. I'll catch you on the flip side, and I've never played Fortnite before.